We look at the numbers, and for a lot of dealer groups right now, things look fine. The stores are performing, the culture seems decent, managers are loyal, but if you look under the surface, does it feel heavier than it used to?
It definitely does. And that's the thing, there is absolutely a quiet leadership crisis that is bubbling below the surface of many dealers. And no one's really talking about it.
Why not? If the profit is there, why worry?
Yeah. I think because the crisis isn't a financial one, I think at the end of the day. It's structural, you know? The business has grown in complexity, but the dealerships haven't really, and the management teams haven't really kept up with that. Dealers are feeling that load get heavier, but they can't quite put a finger on why.
So, to be clear, is there a talent shortage?
I wouldn't really call it a talent shortage or even like a generational gap. And it's not even a succession problem. It is a clarity, alignment, and capacity problem. And if you don't fix it, it may not cause problems today, but 5 years from now, it absolutely will.
So I'm a dealer and the numbers are good. How do I know this crisis is building? What are the red flags?
It's rarely a big explosion, but it is patterns. Small symptoms that you ignore until you can't anymore. The biggest one, your GM is the super glue, holding everything together until they are stretched way too thin that they can't handle it anymore.
Right. Or the controller who holds the financial memory of the store.
Yeah, exactly. If the controller leaves, the history of the store leaves with them. It's brutal. That is a massive risk.
What about the rest of the team?
You see the department managers often operating off of different assumptions. You see the next generation wanting to get involved, but having very poor or unclear expectations. And honestly, as the dealer, you oftentimes feel like you're still making all the decisions yourself and you're alone, even though you're paying a leadership team.
That feeling of, I have help, so why am I still doing all of the heavy lifting?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. These aren't personnel issues. They are signs that your structure has not grown with your business.
Why is it so hard for dealers to spot? Is it just denial?
No, it's actually because dealers are great operators. They are incredible problem solvers, and when they get into the mix, they get in there and they solve issues. When there's conflict, they step in and referee.
They put the fire out.
And that works for a while. Over time, that really trains the leadership team to be dependent on the dealer. And it teaches your staff to wait for things to happen and for you to resolve issues instead of going and resolving the issues as they happen.
They wait for the chief problem solver to show up.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Matt. And that creates a bottleneck. The pressure on the owner builds until they look up and they realize that the organization can't function without them. And that's it. That's the crisis that we're talking about. It's not sudden, it's not explosive, but it's heavy.
Let's play this out.
Yep.
If we don't fix the structure, what happens in 2026?
Yeah, good question. It gets expensive. Decisions slow down. Opportunities stall because you can't pivot quickly enough. You start seeing tensions rise between departments as they're battling for favor or resources, opportunities. And honestly, the priorities get fuzzy,
And I imagine that's where you lose good people.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. 100%. I mean, key leaders will burn out in an environment like that, and then you as the dealer are going to end up having to step back in as the referee for a lot of situations. Again, None of this is caused by the market, right? It's not your competition. It's not the external forces that are impacting your business. It is internal. It is the lack of clearly defined roles and expectations or weak collaboration amongst your departments. They are not just trying to survive. They are busy building a machine that will thrive and create the structure that they're going to need as we go into 2026. And honestly, we're looking at 7 specific things that we're helping them implement.
Walk us through the big ones.
Yeah. Okay. So number 1 is the Management Advisory Board. We often will refer to it as an MAB. This isn't just a staff meeting. This is a forum where owner, GM, dealer, key managers align themselves on the strategic priorities of the organization. It totally kills that random discussion mindset, right?
So everyone is singing from the same sheet of music.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 2 is decoding communication styles. We use assessments and coaching to figure out how people talk, how they communicate, right? It stops a lot of the predictable conflict that happens between personality styles and communication styles. And if you think about it from a dealership perspective, we're talking about the sales mindset versus the fixed mindset. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's huge. What about developing people as well?
So that's number 3, and you're right on track, right? We call that the BASC package. Behaviors, attitudes, skills, knowledge, and experience. We stop guessing who's ready for a promotion, and we put it into terms that everyone can understand across the board, who is actually ready, who is putting in the work, who has the experience to do it. BASC gives you a scorecard to identify rising managers and expose gaps objectively.
I love that. So it removes the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm. And that leads to number 4, which is real governance. Written expectations, decision authority, take the politics out of the business, right? And then number 5, we're talking about functional org charts, back to business 101, and sometimes it can seem a little pedantic, but it's something that we really want to make sure that we're addressing. So we understand what is the hierarchy, how does decision-making work in this organization, and we can align, again, back to those clear expectations. We want to make sure that we understand who's responsible for what and to what level they can make decisions.
Redundancy planning.
Yes. Reducing dependency on single points of failure. Finally, we look at what we refer to as collaboration rhythms. Better meetings, not just more meetings, right? And next generation development. Giving those rising leaders a real path and not just a title.
So this isn't corporate bureaucracy.
Not at all. These are practical, dealership-ready structures that can put in place what you will need to be successful for 2026.
It feels like a lot of dealers are going to recognize themselves in this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if this feels familiar, you are not alone. Most groups are feeling this pressure right now. The good news is it's completely fixable, but you have to know where you stand.
So what's the first step?
So we're inviting any dealer who would like to, before they head to NADA, to take the dealer growth and continuity assessment. Produces a nice scorecard that can give you an idea of where you stand. Take the assessment, come see us at the show. We can walk through your results together and build a plan.
So we'll put that link right here on the screen and in the description. Thank you so much, Ryan, for your time and breaking everything down for us. True pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt, and we'll see you guys at NADA this year.
We'll see you guys later.